Wait a minute, what the fuck? What? Why do I have Durando in Smash? How did that happen? Did you let me put him there and not tell me?
I guess it was your Freudian slip there.
What the shit? Hey, welcome back, Visions fans. It's the Leonis report. JB and I back again on a Monday, episode 43, a day after the Super Bowl. I know I'm pretty exhausted from that. I know it was hitting the sauce kind of hard and a little bit of a late night, but it was a good time. How about you, man? How's your weekend?
Same thing. I'm always watching, getting a good party going for the Super Bowl. Had some friends over to the house, and we usually host that and make up a bunch of food, and everybody's drinking and having a good time. So yeah, that was it was a late night. So the game was definitely good. It kind of went right down to the end and overtime. So it was fun to watch, and the commercials and everything are always a good time as well. But
Absolutely.
definitely feeling it today for sure. It was a slow day at work, and definitely looking forward to going to bed early tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, or better or worse, we actually don't have a lot to discuss tonight, so we decided to do something kind of fun at the end of this, which we'll reveal in a moment, but just kind of highlighting the slew of topics. It's going to be recapping Oberon the Auspicious, where now that we have full details of his kit, where last week we only got that snap preview, we've had some time to analyze, do some character reviews, do some physical testing in game, so we'll talk through him. The 2P Vision card is now out as part of the raid. We haven't really covered that in depth yet, but absolutely worth bringing attention to. We are getting this week as part of the roadmap the new Shadowlynx Ashen Warrior unit, so we'll talk about her, some of the impressions, and a little bit about how you can acquire her and just philosophically what's going on. We have some limit break upgrades we did not capture last week that we did want to highlight. There's a also pending Guild War change in JP that many of you probably heard about in terms of introducing 2 backup units. We'll talk about our thoughts on that as well for the game balance, pros and cons, what we like. We do have Final Fantasy 13 returning at JP as well with the new character introduction. But the big thing we're going to be doing tonight toward the end, we are doing a War of the Visions non-UR, so lower rarity, smash or pass that JV and I, yes, exactly as it sounds. We'll go through it more if you don't understand. But yes, we're doing a smash shipper. So that was JB's idea. A lot of fun. Looking forward to that. But
We're gonna change it up a little bit and do something a little wacky. So hopefully you
100%.
guys like it.
Definitely. But yeah, Oberon the Auspicious, we nailed a lot of what we thought last week in terms of the previews. I don't think there were a lot of surprises in the kit upon release. We at least finally got some numbers where we could do a little more analytics and get some testing. Has he met your expectations? You think he's a solid unit? Like, well, I don't know. What are you thinking about him overall so far?
I mean, I think that he's decent. Like he's a little bit disappointing though, and mostly I think when it comes to his party buff, I think that one is really what's they kind of it's really mid. Like 25 unit resist, okay, that's fine. But we've seen that now on a few characters. But the barrier was just like a 35% 3 hits general barrier. That's where like it kind of falls apart for me. Like you're seeing a lot of other units coming in with 50% barriers, HP barriers. As a 100 cost unit, as sort of the latest and greatest, I feel like we shouldn't be going backwards there in terms of that buff. Especially when like his other buff, like his self buff, it's pretty good, but it's not like the best thing we've ever seen either. Like that one, I do like it better.
Yep.
He gets like the heal back. He's getting the absorb capability, and then like it has some AP management. It's pretty good, but again, it's not. I don't think it's blowing anybody away by any means.
No, yeah, I would agree. There's some deficiencies in the kit. You named one of them in the buff where that's okay if you offset it somewhere else with a real nice thing. I don't know if I see that anywhere as kit to say like there's something really amazing to offset a below average buff. But I'll be honest, he's performing better than most units. I have him maxed. He's certainly not bad. He's not exceptional, but he has a very strong niche of countering a certain type of character. And even then, like he's got a relatively good amount of bulk just from the health pool for that heal back actually does come in pretty handy. The barrier, for what it's worth, although only 35%, is still a handy damage mitigation mechanic. And damage wise, and like the heal back is certainly there. I still think that he's early for us, where he's the kind of character that there's just not enough bones in the game to really get him to a maximum build level, where Katana is a very green from a not only from a character perspective of who you'd match him with. I know Dario's coming, but even then, like Dario's just one unit, and he's got like kind of like an anti-magic niche, so there's not like a lot of rainbow stuff to theoretically do. But besides that, there's also the Katana Vision cards, which there's actually a lot of them, but there's not a lot of the infrastructure ones that you look for to really build some teams out. So you consider that. Like there's just some things that he's a little bit early that when I'm team building for him, I'm really just kind of stuck to mono fire, and that's okay. But there's other some small deficiencies that I guess we'll go down this road because we're already talking about it. Like I know for me, the fact that he's got that Diamond AoE, that's the slash and magic res pen reduction. Love that ability. I don't like that it has 3 casts. I found that already in Guild War that it is possible you might blow all 3 of them in the first fight, or even the second fight if you only have 1 more cast, and you just use it on a tank and it's gone. I wish it had that 4th cast, so to really amplify that niche. The AP issues, Ram9 and I have actually gone back and forth in this. I don't think he necessarily has AP issues, but it's close. It's like genuinely really borderline where the cost of the limit break, he's got the 5% AP regen, but there are certainly some fights where those big diamonds, you just lose the opportunities to use them when you really want them in the mid fight. So it kind of peters out kind of quickly sometimes. But he's a solid unit. It's not bad.
I think when you are kind of on that line, sometimes you have units that come in with AP breaks like Saul, and like there's a lot of them in the game, but they hit you with the 15 or 20 AP down, and then all of a sudden that becomes a huge problem when you're, like I said, when you're kind of sitting there. I think one thing that we mentioned like last week as well, when based on the teaser information, the sub jobs just really aren't doing a ton of favors for him. With the paladin, the dragoon. Sure, there's a couple of skills that, maybe you could use in some niche situations. Certainly, like Immortal Spirit is one that you like to see there in Paladin. But at the same time, again, we're in the situations where we have maybe 2 turns to get buffs off, and you might be looking at TMRs, you might be looking at those 2 buffs in his main kit, and it's like, okay, courage at its current place in the game, is it really worth using? So
Yeah. But no, he does seem to fill a really nice, I won't call it a niche, but he fills a nice slot at the moment where we're seeing Helena Vivi still. Obviously, that's very powerful. But we are seeing upticks in the Greatsword teams of like A2 and Astrius, and he does serviceably go against both relatively well. He does have some weaknesses, though, scattered throughout the kit that I do think, again, when you talk about build limitations, his overall accuracy is exceptionally poor. And although the limit break is a guaranteed hit, and he has one in his main job, it's a single target. So, like, he runs out of cast of that, and it doesn't, like, one-shot people. So even though it's a guaranteed hit, you're not relying on that. So there are definitely, like, holes in that perspective. He's very fast, which I do appreciate. I said this for a while. They kind of, for a little bit here, these top end characters like Soul, Helena, Alaya, they kind of like peeled back their agility values a little bit compared to where they were for a while. Like I remember there was a time where characters were like at 120 agility really easily, like a lot of characters, and we're more in that like 108 and 110 level right now. And the fact that he's the katana user, Heaven's Cloud, my Oberon's at like 127 agility. Like it's crazy sometimes. So he's got some stats that are really good and some stats that it kind of handcuffs you.
the HP, it's pretty solid, like definitely bruiser tier, and he's got access to really good healing power. Like he can get, what is it, like 35 that he has just base in his kit, and then you just throw some trust stones on there, and you can get him up to 50 healing power.
Easy, right? So he's got
Um,
15 here on the 140. The Dragoon lore, which I have been using, is another 20, so that'll get him another 35. A Truststone passive is 45, and the max technically caps out at 50. So that's a defense or spirit set, puts you at 55 technically. But yeah, very very powerful for A, the heal back ability, but B, for that buff of where he absorbs damage done. That not only does he have it on that ability, but he also has it on decimation. So he really does fill that like brawler niche well in that he can replenish that HP fairly consistently.
and obviously that works really well. Like if you're pairing him with a unit like Soul, for example, who's got all that healing coming in, and that's going to make his heals really pop off. And then you think about into the future with Dario coming in, he also has the sequential healing, and getting that 40, maybe even 50 healing power is pretty massive for those skills.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. He's done some decent stuff too with the Draconic Slash, this little follow up ability. There's actually been a handful of times where it comes in rather nice that it's nice chip damage. We're seeing that right now with 2P as well, where it's hard to consider that in the damage calcs, but it's a great anti-courage mechanic too if you get that timing right, where you kill an enemy and procs courage, and then follow-up attack after. And then I do appreciate that he does have that dispel still. I haven't seen this be a big player so far. Most of my fights, the limit break is nice, but this map doesn't really do him any favors. Where there's a lot of weird height variations that it can be kind of difficult to really land this perfectly. But yeah, I still think there's promise for this character because slash and magic damage are going to be prevalent for a while. They always have been in the game, so I think there'll always be a place for and a need for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this unit is like a, Resnick the Hoppy situation,
No,
where it's just a kind of a big flop right away. I think that there's some bones there, like we've been kind of, laying out here, that he's pretty good. I'm not sure that I see him as like that meta unit. I think he's going to be more of like, he's a nice to have, kind of unit basically.
it's funny you bring up Resnick the Hoppy to say like as a comparison character. I'm trying to think like is there a character that's come out in the last year that I could probably like compare him to in terms of value? I almost kind of think of this might not be fair. Maybe like Stern, Wing of Destiny, like really good unit, but like not broken, but like really solid unit. But like
Yeah.
he's not gonna define the meta. But he's really good. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's probably the they're not exactly similar. I didn't mean to draw that comparison. I just mean in terms of like impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they have like different strengths and weaknesses, obviously, but
Right.
I think I would tend to agree. I think he's probably in that either like high B or low A tier type value.
Yep.
He's not knocking down the top of the meta.
No. But then again, Katana, like Sword Warrior, might be getting more love as the year goes on. Obviously, Gumi does that every year where they pick a class and really give them some extra emphasis. Maybe he's the first of something that's being built. And that's why I think he could be also kind of early. We'll see what ends up happening though.
Yeah, it seems like, we had all of these kind of job or weapon groups that were built up, over the past year that have kind of been, like the Fist group or like the Black Mage that kind of got some releases, and then they kind of culminated with, like a meta class release with like an Alaya or with Helena the Black Rose. Katana, obviously they have some good units in there. They just haven't gotten, that piece to really make the group transcend and pop off yet.
Yep.
I'm sure it will be coming down the road. We have some teasers for, Young O and, some of these other units that could potentially be that unit.
That's a good point. Absolutely. And it really does take more, even more, I think, than one character sometimes, where ideally you'd like a team of three to say you have three really great units, but even strike teams, there's not only three good strike units, there's like five or six. And you can say the same for magic units. Like there's more than just Helena. It's Helena and Soul and Vivi and Amnos was obviously in the mix for a while. And there's other like really good magic units that you need more than just one. Like you need some versatility sometimes because as meta shifts, you're gonna have to change your party up. And so if you only have three good katana units, they're probably only good for that one specific time. So you really like do need to build out that cast a little more. But yeah, that's it for now. We'll obviously do more tinkering and testing and see who else ends up building him in the game. I don't think we've really seen anyone using him prevalently other than some internal testing. But for now, we'll at least talk about the new vision card as well for 2P, which came out as part of the raid. That it's the free MR card. We've known about this one for a while. I think we've mentioned it. I'll let you go over this one if you want, and just some of the general thoughts here.
Yeah, this is the card that we kind of alluded to it last week when we got the preview of Oberon's card, which we are going to be seeing this week as well. And the two cards, at least when you're considering the Katana group itself, are very, very similar. They're having both having magic resist, having some attack value, and then I think Oberon's card is getting like a raw crit, whereas this is getting dexterity.
Yep.
So more or less the same effects there, kind of in a different package, but obviously, this is touching different groups here. This is looking at the axe, the fist, katana, and sword C. So some pretty good units in here. Obviously this one was the free card from the raid. I've already managed to pick this one up and build it out. Everyone should. It's really not that difficult. Even if you can't complete like the highest like nightmare difficulty, you can always farm the shards on the medium difficulty, and not too bad just to kind of put that in the background farm or something. But
Mhm.
obviously, this is not a card I would be using like in a primary slot in most cases, but you can pop this in the secondary, and I think it's pretty decent, especially with all the magic still being used out there.
I agree with you, and we are fortunate. There actually are opportunities though to put this in the main slot for Fist in particular, where Fist
True.
does have the full metal card that covers the unit res and agility. Typically, it's been the other full metal card that has been like a popular main slot because it's got a higher attack percentage. But like theoretically, if you're using 2B and you want that 15 luck, you want to keep that 10% evasion for her. Obviously, it's a slight step down for attack, but only 10%. But you're getting magic res instead, and although the other one gives you crit rate, you're getting dex. So again, it's kind of a trade off here that similar enough. You could flex it. I don't know if it's a strong preference, but this is a very very solid card. This has just a lot of good general stats that work for a lot of these characters. And yes, there are most definitely a lot of characters on here that are genuinely um, staples of what we're seeing right now and probably have some good lasting power. So yeah, two thumbs up. I don't have more to say than that. Well, then the next note that we'll talk about is the new Shadowlynx Ashen Warrior unit coming out. And this is a 70 cost missile oriented unit. Been a little while since we had, I think it was Melnia, to be honest, our last missile unit, and Irvine before her. That this is a unit that comes out with some uniqueness in terms of acquisition. There is a straight up purchasable option, if I've understood correctly, that you can just buy her, kind of like Dwayne back in the day. I don't remember the price point, and that obviously might change from JP to global. However, that we've had some fun conversations about missile units, and this is another good one to add for water in particular. What do you think about her so far in terms of what you've seen or what you've heard, what you've read?
So at least over in JP, there the bundle for her was 6K paid, and you got the unit and you got some shards. I think it was about 200 shards, and there may have been like some other goodies in there as well. So, like you said, it's been a while since we've been able to do like a 6K paid on a brand new unit. Um, they started off the game actually with that with Ramza back in the day for us. We had Dwayne. There may have been one or two others, but normally like the buying the units has been reserved for older stuff where you can maybe get a 120 level unit is something they've been doing more recently even. But on a brand new like banner unit that's newly released to the game, it's definitely been a minute. This one again, 70 costs, like you said, missile unit. We've had our issues with them, but I think this one's a pretty solid one. She's bringing some unique things to the game that we haven't seen before. The TMR actually is something that I do like for her. Although it's kind of a cloth piece, the effect on hit I think is pretty nice. Something that you could even stack with Oberon, and his capability. He's got the 30%. You could stack this, get it up to a 60%, and then suddenly nobody's really going to be able to get through that very well in
Right.
terms of high slash res. So maybe some interesting applications there, though maybe kind of a little bit niche. The thing that I like about Shadowlynx is that they haven't really dinged her in the survivability department. I think that she's got a decent amount of survivability here baked in. She's got some area resist. She does have access to an HP barrier as well of 7,500 physical from the Axe Knight job, which is huge
Huge.
for this unit.
Yep.
I think even like the HP is actually really solid for a missile unit, over 4,000 innate HP. It's not fair for these units to be suffering in the survivability department when they're also suffering in other areas. So I do like that they've kind of addressed that a little bit here with Lynx.
Yeah, I agree. They've given her the honeycomb barrier as another survival mechanic where sure you'll have to pick and choose. Obviously, being a ranged unit, you probably only have one, maybe two buffs to get this off. But yeah, she's got a lot of good stuff here that I do appreciate in terms of the diamond shape buff. I love this for missile units, particularly because we've seen Rugia and Alaya who theoretically have that decrease of move option that these diamond buffs allow for some important movement potential for how they line up and get that going. But even that aside, like there's a lot of utility here, which is what you really need in a missile unit in terms of there's one here to dispel courage on 100% hit chance. There are 120 abilities to select to that's a dispel all buffs. I'm very intrigued by the decreased reflect rate and how that mechanic works for Helena. I don't know anything about that yet.
That one's actually a mistranslation. That one should be, I believe it's to reduce the effectiveness of the opponent's buffs by 50%. It has actually nothing to do with reflect as far as I know.
It's funny when you say that. When I was looking through this kit in my head, I'm like, I swear to God, I heard about this mechanic. I don't see it here. But yeah, that's a big one. It's a different kind of. I'll call it like it's like buff weakening instead of debuff weakening. It's buff
Right.
weakening, which is very cool. and then also some future nullifications of what you could get for buffs and haste and this and that. So that alone, obviously, really like the limit break. It looks really good as a 50% AOE crush, and is also a physical and damage reduction of 20% flat out. That, yeah, I'm still very hesitant when it comes to missile units, but you nailed the nail on the head of the survivability being there. Damage wise, I need to do some more in terms of just looking at that, where I haven't really looked at the missile res pen, which there doesn't need to be per se, because missile res right now is definitely skewed negative on a lot of the newer units. So missile res pen is not as big a consideration at the moment. But there's certainly still like defense pen questions where we've had other missile units come out that these passives, sometimes you'll put the defense pen on, sometimes you'll take it off. It's tied to the range too, so there's some stuff here that I need to play with. But I like this unit, what they tried to do.
Yeah, so she gets 40 defense pen from her passive. She has 15 missile res penetration from her mastery. And that's what she starts out with. She doesn't really have any way to amp it up, in terms of like active buffs or anything. But like her weapon gives her 20 defense pen. She has a unique bow that comes along with her event. So, at least defense pen, it's not too shabby. I think in most cases you're definitely going to be wanting to take her range too, I think pretty much all the time. So they're kind of tied together. Missile res pen certainly could be better, but again, like the recent trend over the last 5 months is nobody has missile resistance anymore. Like
No.
none of the units being used right now at the moment. So that's not really going to be a huge problem. That's more of like a future proofing, or when certain niche units come out, she at least isn't her damage isn't completely shot.
Right.
But that going back to that job 25 that you were talking about, I really like that one with the select two, getting the dispel, general dispel, but then the nullify on top of that, so that this is a range unit. They may have a chance to reapply something. She says no to that. They can't, all basically she nulls haste, and the physical damage increase even after that. So that's kind of a unique thing that she does as well.
Yep. I will say there's something I'm very intrigued by, that they gave her this decreased chain res of 30 for the enemy as a debuff, which I thought was very interesting because there's no multi hits on the main job. On the sub job here, they offer some double and triple hits. But I thought that was very interesting that they gave her that mechanic and didn't really follow up with anything innately in the main kit. I know Vivi technically has that, but he does have a double hit in the kit. And even though it's I think it's, oh no, it's dark type. I guess the bottom line is I was surprised to see this, considering like what the upside is. It's nice, I guess. Maybe PvE content is the angle. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, kind of throwing it in there for free is, I'll take it, especially when, it's an on hit effect. It's something that can stack with other units. And, even though she may not necessarily have the multi hits, you could pair her with units that can. There are a lot other bow units, like hunters, like Eliza and others that do have triple hit bow attacks. Even in water, there's several units that chain that, maybe have double hits or triple hits. So, yeah, I like it as kind of a general utility, especially when she's getting that other stuff in there as well that are all kind of damage focused with the crit damage up and whatnot too. So
Yeah. No, it's not that I don't like it. I'm slightly surprised they didn't do something else in the kit to naturally align with it, if that makes sense. Because I would agree with
gotcha.
you. I would think this buff on the Axe, oh my God, Strider. No, what's it called? Axe Knight.
Axe Knight, yeah.
I would think you would want that online, which if that's the case, that means you lose out on the double hits here. So if you're picking and choosing, I think that was where my like philosophical conundrum came from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that she has useful sub jobs too, like as opposed to Oberon, who we were kind of knocking for that. Ranger is still pretty nice. You got the Mega Charge or whatever that has the Imperil. She does have Sharpshoot as well. And then Axe Knight is a great one. I love seeing that on units as of late. She's got that barrier, like we mentioned, even the healing one, which could be kind of maybe useful once in a while, maybe between fights or something like that. So I like the added utility.
Totally. And the last point I'll put out here is, I've always said this: when a unit comes out, I like to see if they fill a hole in an element, and water is missing the missile unit. Water, although they have Winter Victoria, is not the missile unit that you can use nowadays, really, with any consistency. So, checking that box of what water has to offer, I like that they're adding in a missile unit. It's something that the class desperately really needed to round it out as an option. So she gets 2 thumbs up alone from that angle for me.
I think I'm definitely gonna go for her.
I will
I
too.
think she's pretty solid.
For how much we normally spend to acquire units and hopefully pity, to say 6K and guarantee a unit, like that seems like a steal for, I know, for what we normally put into the game. So for us, that's a good value.
I wish that she had re-raised a spell instead of a Immortal Spirit. That's kind of my one disappointment, but and I don't think that she's really knocking out any of the top water units necessarily, but maybe on certain maps or maybe in certain rule sets, she could certainly fit in. And then definitely for like cost restricted stuff, that'll be a nice feather in the cap for water and for bow, you know, when eventually that gets built up. So
Right, totally. I mean, that to me is the perfect world for a bow unit. Would be a perfect rainbow unit that they bring just so much utility that they don't need tons of AoE res. They don't need tons of modifiers in the vision cards. They don't need any of these things that external help or external buffs. It's a unit you can put in there. They got one job. They got to do that job, and that's what I really look for nowadays. And she seemingly has a couple things that certainly could add to that. But yeah, so we'll see more of her obviously in the release and what's to come in the next week. But until then, we have a couple limit break upgrades that we did not know about last week when we were going over preliminary stuff.
yeah, we didn't have the full news breakdown when we were recording last week, but these are kind of forgettable. So we probably didn't miss a ton.
No, so Mashri was one. Hers, it's a theoretical good one in that it's dispelling all buffs and it dispels all debuffs. That's really what she's getting here. But this limit break is still very limited in range. It's Mashri, you know what I mean? Like, what do you?
I mean, the times that I've used her, she barely ever uses this, if ever,
Yeah,
just because of that, because of that range. Unless you've like completely turned off, any other skills like healing and buffs and stuff.
yep, yep.
So this one is, yeah, this one's whatever. If she ever did get it off before, it was already like a pretty good limit burst, getting all the resistances and they already kind of fixed the damage component of it back when they did her dream ability, because it used to be, a physical attack, which was laughable.
Awful. Yeah. Yeah, I love that they 253% modifier. Whoever did the math there obviously did some kind of calculation to say what's the break point between this ability, probably something on the main job. But even that it's a strike type attack, so like there's a lot more strike res in the game at the moment that even now, like when you're talking about what damage might prioritize, like this is probably still a hard one for the AI to pull off. We'll come back to Ketone in a second. Uldoa got hers. Now Uldoa is a unit who has not aged well. Absolutely awful. This could be a 50 cost unit, and I believe you, if you know what I mean. There's really nothing here that's good about this unit, and this limit break is literally nothing to me. It's decrease CT of 50 for that single target, decrease their AP of either 40 or 40%, whatever it is. But regardless, that's 25% physical barrier. I don't, whatever.
Yeah, one thing I'm not sure if this is like the new sort of status for physical reduction. I don't think so. The way that it's worded just sounds like it's just a 3-turn barrier. So yeah, like they've really kind of gone above and beyond for some of these old units that really were never hit at all, like even back on their initial release, like the Yermas of the world, and there's been other examples. I don't know why they hate Aldoa so much. Like they just have never given her good enough upgrades. And this one really isn't doing it. Like the range is still bad. Like they could have made this AoE. They could have done so much more. Like I like the effect with like the steal time and kind of going into the AP break niche that they've been kind of leaning into with some of her other upgrades, but it needed to be like 4 or 5 range. This is not going to really do much for this unit. She's going
No,
to die before she uses it.
right. The main job is just so putridly bad that there's nothing you could really do to salvage that. Yeah,
So pour one out for her.
awful. It's okay. We're getting a new Uldoa unit in a couple weeks. Ashen
Yeah.
Warrior. I'm sorry, guys. Spoiler. I should
Spoiler alert.
put a spoiler in the edit for us. Apologies, guys. But the last one here is Ketone, and I'm saving the best for last because this is actually a very good limit break in my opinion for what Ketone does. She obviously has fallen a little bit in terms of her slot in the Earth teams. The game has changed a little bit, so it's not nearly as oppressive as she once was. Her evasion, though, is still near top of the charts. They've done a lot of stuff to keep her survivability up with the game overall. This limit break, I think, is part of it. Huge cost reduction here to 29 AP. And let me also preface this. People use Ketone, as a Drain Force unit. And those not really familiar with the build, it's basically a way that you can bypass enemy element resistance and weapon type resistances, that it's just a pure absorption of enemy HP. And they've done a couple things with her already, that on the 120 ability, it's a unit in peril and it's a increase of healing power for herself, which this ability has always been really good to amplify the Drain Force, where you're imperiling their unit rest so your Drain Force does more damage, and you also heal back more as part of that absorption. And now what this Limit Break is doing, the human killer mods are part of this equation in terms of the Drain Force that you'll add, siphon more. It still retains the stop. It's a evasion rate of 30% mid-fight, which I love. That's certainly a nice buff mid-fight. It's the ignore sure hit for 3 turns in addition to that evasion, and it's more healing power of 20 here, where obviously I don't think they'll stack. That if you already have the 20 healing power active from the 120, it's not going to stack with this one, but still to be able to reapply that, I think this fits perfectly with how people are using Ketone.
Yeah, this one's nice. You also have the increase of human killer there for 3 turns, which is
Right.
also going to amplify the drain force, which is really cool. I've faced Katona a couple times since this came out, and often she was like the last one, to for me to finish off. She doesn't really scare you, in terms of like, assuming you have stop resistance and can deal with this limit burst. That's really all you need to worry about with this unit. Otherwise, she's just going to be annoying and kind of, you have to kill her a few times because her courage keeps, reprocking. But I do like this. I think it's good for her. I think that she's just not going to be really bringing much damage for you, and that's what's holding her back. I think from being used, across the game.
No, 100%. But for a year one unit, I think this does service to what she's already doing relatively well compared to other units in her
Yep.
niche. So I like that a lot. But that's what we got for the limit break upgrades. We do have some other things to talk about more on the JP side of things. And the first thing is, some of you might have seen from Odaiba's stream, or KT7 had some posts about it, but they're changing, or theoretically changing, the Guild War system in JP. And we have some details on it. I don't know. Do you want to recap some of that for us, JP? Just talk about the intricacies of it.
The main things that are being changed is that you are now going to be setting 5 units. It's still going to be 3 versus 3 Guild War. It's not going to be 5 on 5, but you're going to set 2 additional units as reserves. They're going to have, their full equipment and their vision cards set up. So that right there is going to be the biggest change, is that now there is going to be 10 total vision cards in play, and they're going to be affecting all units at all times. So an additional 4 cards from what we have right now. So that's pretty huge. I think that changes a little bit how we think about vision cards as well, where a lot of times, you might have some of these compression damage based cards that might have attack and modifiers, or maybe reaction block or something else that you would really like to use. But we have to throw it into the sub slot just because we have always had just those 3 primary slots to work with. So, that might change the school of thought on some of those things a little bit, and might have us prioritizing some cards a little bit differently as we move forward, assuming that the change, actually survives on the JP side. Because another thing is that, the amount of stars, obviously, with 2 additional units for every team, you're going up to 150 stars instead of 90 that we have right now. So that, could potentially increase the amount of time that it takes to do Guild War. Maybe, obviously some of the preparation and some of the thought that goes into it is increased as well. So I know that has been, the backlash over in the JP side that some people haven't taken to, at least right away. I know for me personally, I'm not opposed to them changing that core mode, because essentially it has been what it is since the beginning of the game. We're going on 4 years now of that same mode. It is very stale. I mean, it is what it is. I still enjoy it, but I don't fault them for wanting to change it and play around with it. Hopefully they settle on something that can be, something that everybody will end up enjoying.
Totally. And yeah, I don't want to speak for the JP side of things, because there are some cons to them that don't apply to us. They have a much smaller Guild War window. So there's a whole bunch of factors that if they have, problems with it, I'll appreciate their grievances. For us, I absolutely love this change personally. For me, it does a couple things. That A, it obviously gives more benefit to a wider range of vision cards that you don't normally get value out of. That doesn't feel good anymore, to have to spend 20,000 or 10 to 20,000 on a vision card and have a very mediocre influence on the actual fight, because it's just relegated to some sub slot. I love the fact that you get more value out of that. I love the fact that you get value out of 5 characters instead of 3. You can get to use more characters and more frequency, that you're just using more of the resources that we've spent so much time and money to use. So that feels a lot better to me, that you're getting more value for what you've spent because you're using more stuff in the game mode that matters most. No one's really pulling anything here for arena. You know what I mean? It's a nice side effect, but the main motivation for most people is Guild War, and so this is a way to really leverage a lot more of what we have. The second thing is, I like the fact that they're switching up how formulaic Guild War is. It's pretty formulaic. It's pretty predictable at the moment in terms of counting stars, counting attacks. Well, do you chain? Do you open? Who hits these 3? Who clears those? It's very almost cookie cutter to those that know the system for a while. And although there's going to be a change in the competitive advantage per se in terms of which guilds have people that can really build out these teams, that being said, I don't think it's going to be as large a lift as people think it is in terms of adding 2 extra units and adding 4 extra vision cards. Like I know most people have those, and at the top end of the game, from like a competitive integrity standpoint, man, like if you wanted to be #1 in Guild War, you've had 4 years to do it. If you wanted to join a guild and compete, you've had windows to do it. It's gone on so long now that whatever you wanted to accomplish, you should have already accomplished. If you haven't, then we just didn't. But I like that they're making the game feel a little more fresh. I like that they're doing something to change up how formulaic it's gotten. I like the benefits of using more units and what that does for opening up how you theory craft different teams, because right now you're theory crafting the same team of 3 and you're the same vision cards that they can use, and there's not as much thinking about like, all right, well, what about the second unit that subs in here, and how does it affect turn order and this and that. And while that might be difficult for some newer players, at the same time, I think having 5 vision cards will be a little more forgiving in that your team will have more benefits. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I like it.
I like it as well, and I more like that they're trying to change it up and innovate, or give us something fresh at least out of what we have. I would caution people to immediately just tune it out before they've even had a chance to. I mean, even JP hasn't had a chance to try this out yet. It's something that they've just announced that they're working on, something that they'd like to do. So I mean, let's see how it actually plays out and give it a shot. I wouldn't want to stifle them from changing other modes as well because this goes poorly. You know what I mean? And that at that point, they just throw their hands up and say, "Oh, these players are they want what they have, and we're not going to do anything else. We'll just leave it as it is." We don't want that to happen because the more the game stagnates, the more people get bored with it and just move on. We want them to change it up and innovate and keep it fresh. So. Let's encourage that.
And if I could, like, think of, there was a time where we could only equip 3 vision cards in the game. It wasn't 6; it was 3. It feels it feels a lot better to have 6. If I had to pick only 3 vision cards, that feels like crap. The fact that you expand it to 6, now all of a sudden you have new intricate. Like, was there a big learning curve or hurdle for people to fill out a team now that you required 6 vision cards instead of 3? Like, I don't think so. I don't think that was a big lift for people to adjust to, but there are huge ramifications for what your team stats could have been and how you agility tune and how much evasion or accuracy you built in, because you could get more flexible with what you had for vision cards. So that, to me, like, I see so much more opportunity by them expanding that.
Kind of on the same notes, I mean, something that actually we should be getting this week as well is that Elder Awakening vision card update. That was something that they did announce on the live stream. And, with the changes to the older cards and them getting, a little bit better, that's something that you can throw in that sub slot and get value out of. A lot of us have those old cards just sort of sitting around collecting dust. And those, when they do expand the pool of vision cards you can use, those old cards, at least in the early days, do gain value. The same thing happened when they opened it up to 6. Said the same thing back then, and a lot of us used them for a while at that time. So
yeah, vision cards like the Golem vision card that gives you the HP. Who would have thought that ever come back? But like, that's a staple in many teams. Same thing with the effort card. Like, you haven't used it, but now you can. And in addition to some extra JP news before we get to Smash or Pass, is the Final Fantasy 13 Re-Run that's occurring, and they're introducing Fang as the new unit, which we kind of knew. They have a system of units that they make character art for in the first collab or whatever it is. They typically keep that character art and introduce them later. She is getting introduced though as a lightning unit instead of a wind unit. Oh, JB's not happy. I'm not either. As a lightning unit instead of a wind unit. I'm actually not that unhappy. We'll talk through why. but Wind is not getting a new unit, which was her original element. So, what are you thinking on Fang here? You seem. I want to hear what you're thinking.
I just don't think we needed another lightning unit at this point. Like we had Alaya, we had Squall, we had Raph, we I mean, how many units are we gonna throw into the lightning element? Astrius is obviously that's another top of the line unit. Like and they're all good units. I mean, even Squall, even Viga, who we kind of, wrote on them a little bit for not being, quite as good, but we call it the lightning problem. They just have so many good units that some like a Squall or a Viga, if they were in another element, I honestly believe they would be seeing more play.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I just don't know why we need another lightning unit, especially right after a water unit again. It's like, why? Why do they continue just to stifle anybody wanting to invest at all in the water element? So
I think I just broke my camera. There we go. So out of focus.
there it
Yeah.
is.
My only counterpoint, because and this is topical. Lightning does not have a good Pierce unit. 9S is not that guy. So again, when you talk about like which elements have certain things, they check the box. Wind has Glaciella, has the new Veritas unit, has Winter Luartha. There's a fair amount of Pierce there that Lightning literally does not have a good Pierce unit. It's Veln and 9S and Alim, and like that's it. So yeah, so from that angle, is the timing kind of crap? Sure. It's another Lightning unit very quickly. I'll completely concede on that. But, if you were to say where would you like Fang to go, I normally might have also said Fire, because Fire doesn't have a lot of good Pierce units, but they just got Oberon. Uh, Lilith's brother, Volk, is likely to be a Fire Pierce unit. So if I'm going through that elemental checklist, like, I can see why Lightning fills that need. And so I'm not horribly against it other than the timing. But even then, like, Water is still done very well, that I'm not that down on her coming in for what it does for Water, particularly because Earth has gotten just as much love as of late. That if we're gonna play that counter element game of like, oh, they brought in this unit and now this element's unplayable, like the 2P is like top of the line for a lot of people now, and Earth is still really good. Like if you're gonna use the logic of that argument, I feel like you could make the same argument for like Earth just shutting down Lightning and that.
Oh, I mean, no, 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that, they're looking at the spear units and what they have in the collection. The clear hole is that there is no, top of the line lightning, spear units. On the other hand, there's no top of the line light spear unit or dark spear unit, but I think people probably would have been throwing their hands up if we saw another light or dark unit right now as
Right,
well. So
right.
they kind of took the lesser of two evils there. But I think that's very much, where they're kind of, again, we've said it for a while now. They're not looking from a monumental element perspective as their main design choice. Is it a factor? Yeah, I'm sure that it plays in, especially when they're building out the jobs on the vision cards. But from a unit perspective, they are really looking at the jobs and what the capabilities are in those jobs. We're going to see it in a couple of weeks when the next Ashen Warrior comes out with the new Fist unit that's a Dark Element 70 cost. And it's like, wait a minute, didn't Dark already have a couple of top tier, 70 cost units? Well, yeah, they do. They didn't really need another one, but the Fist group does need a 70 cost unit. So that's why she's in there.
Absolutely. Yep, spot on. So yeah, we'll see what comes with that rerun, but that's all we really know for now. Who knows what they'll do for other 13 related things. Oh, Hope got a job. They're giving Hope the glove class. How can we forget that?
That's banner news right there.
That is, I'll be honest, I still have copium for Hope. I really do. The glove edition I think is nice for him. His AI is still absolute trash. The toggles, he needs like a rework of the AI priority of what he does, and maybe some like changes in the shape of the buffs. They obviously didn't do that with like any MA2s or anything, but like conceptually, like again, if I was doing the character review and I'm looking at everything on the page, and then I'm looking at everything in the stats, and then I'm looking at the glove cards for what they have for like magic percent and magic penetration. It's like it's there. It's just that the AI is poop.
Takes a lot to kind of rein him in, but I think that the glove group is a good place for him. I think that's where some of us kind of theorized where he would go, and I don't know. I've got some hopium there that like that he could be potentially good. So looking forward to that. Also, they're going to be upgrading the weapons as well, and I think they're going to be doing LB upgrades. I think I saw that. I know that Snow's upgrade to his limit burst, it's going to increase the size of that AoE, so he's going to have like a pretty big AoE stun now, which is pretty nice for him.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that because that is one that we typically had turned off but that might change. Where obviously as limit break upgrades come around.
Oh, Snow, what that actually toggled my memory. Snows is going to give him courage removal seal as well, which is massive for his survivability.
Oh, it
So,
is.
so maybe you'll finally want to put him into to the B tier when he gets that.
I will. We'll see what ends up happening with that. I like it. But yeah, on that note, we will transition to our War of the Visions, smash or pass. And this is exactly what it sounds like. It's as shallow as it sounds like. We are going to be grading these units, yes, both male and female, as a general category of if we would smash or pass. And we're going to try to rapid fire this and not delve into any Freudian subconscious reasons why or why not. We have the smash category, which is those that we would, pass that we wouldn't, and jail, which is either A, underage, or B, for fun.
Questionable.
And I feel like we need to define a little bit on the male choices here. I know for me it would purely just be like hypothetically aesthetic, like, you know, as a dude, which dude do I appreciate looking at, if you know what I mean? Like if I could model myself after what they look like, or if I think certain qualities are attractive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be character or like, you know, personality.
But yeah.
That it doesn't need to be purely like physical. So.
Yeah, totally. All right, so we'll start top left here with McLeod. JB, and we'll go JB. I'll let you do the honors first, and then I'll follow up second. So, smash or pass on McLeod?
I like McLeod. I'm gonna smash him.
Oh, all right, okay.
He's good.
I'm gonna pass. He's okay. A little vanilla for my liking. He's kind of whatever. A little boring for my likes.
He does have the skirt going on, so he's got the male skirt.
He does. I'll give you that. The Marielle pick, smash or pass?
Marielle's 100% smash for me.
Ooh,
one of my favorites. Yeah.
I like it. I've heard a common phrase though. They say don't stick your dick in crazy, and so she's gonna be a pass for me. It would be a lot of fun, but I need to know what's underneath that mask as well. I don't really know what's there, so there could be some dental work that we don't know about.
Got the COVID mask going, yeah.
We got Nasha next. Smash or pass?
I'm gonna pass on Nasha. I think that like I like the armor and everything, and I like that general aesthetic. I don't like the personality of the character. Like in the few times we've seen her in the story, that really ruins the character for me.
You know what? Aesthetically, I would normally put her in the smash category, but I completely agree. I couldn't even tell you her personality. That's how bland it is. And I know I'm not starting off well here, passing 3 in a row, but the UR tier list is probably a little bit different. This is lower rarity cost only at the moment, but I'll agree with you. I'll go past her now because I need some spark there, if you know what I'm saying. I need some spark on my my interactions. Mariluke here.
I'm gonna pass on Mariluke too. I don't think she's quite to where it would be like jail, but it's like approaching that for me, and so I'm gonna have to pass that.
I completely agree. I'm gonna pass as well. I know I'm not in a good streak here, but not my type, not my style, and just a very
selective. He's selective so far.
Wait, we're 4 characters out of 50 in. This might change soon. And we'll see if I have a couple drinks in me. That might change too. But I'm kidding. What about Severo? You want smash or pass here on Severo?
I'm gonna have to pass on Severo. I'm not liking his vibe.
Same. He's a little too he's not pretty boy enough for me, if you know what I mean. He's got that like I don't know how to say it. This doesn't work. No, it's not for me.
Too scrawny for me.
Yeah, like Chunak can pull it off, but like Severo doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Zazan, what are you going with here?
If it was the UR version, I think I would probably smash. I'm gonna have to pass on this version.
I will put him as my first one in the smash. You might as well dude in the bear cloak. Like I'll take it. Like he's still a fun character. You know, you'd have some fun with that. Revelka.
Good villain.
Good villain, yeah. What about Revelka here?
I think kind of similar to Mariluke. It's like, I don't know like what the age is, and if it's questionable in my mind, I'm gonna have to pass.
Well shoot, now you got me wondering. I never even questioned her age. I was gonna put her in Smash, but is she underage? I don't know.
That's what I'm not sure about. That's why like if it's like questionable somehow, like I just need to.
But she's like a real warrior on the battlefield, right? Like they wouldn't put a child out, or I guess Shell's out there and she's like a kid. So I'll keep Revelka in Smash. I think Revelka's over than 16. If she's not, I'm sorry, everybody. Shell, smash pass, or
she's gonna be my first jail.
Yeah,
definitely. Too young, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, she's like literally like a child, right? Canonically.
I think so.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe in a couple of years. That sounds creepy, but who knows? Etra, smash pass.
I like Etra. I'm gonna smash on Etra.
Not if I
I like the female monk.
Not if I get to her first. I'm also going to put her in the Smash category. That's a good choice. Okay, okay. I don't remember her name.
Marguerite.
Marguerite. Smash or pass?
Definite on Smash.
I will give you that. I don't know anything about her personality, but looks-wise, I can get behind that.
Horrible unit, but
terrible.
It's good.
Terrible. Surges.
Surge's like redemption arc in the story didn't do anything for me, and I always hated him before he had that moment, so he's a definite pass for me.
Okay. Pass. There's one redeeming quality for him that I just learned about this week. There's a character in Genshin Impact. Can't remember his name. But he's in the Fontaine arc, and I remember thinking, wow, this guy is a stellar voice actor. I feel like I've heard him somewhere before, and I've never heard him anywhere, but apparently he's also the voice actor for Surges. So I love that voice actor so much. I'll listen to him talk. Sweet nothing's in my ear. It's the jailer in Fontaine, for those of you that want to comment. I forgot the name off the top of my head, but yeah. Uni.
I think we know. I mean, he's definitely...
Smash?
Jail.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, jail 100%. He'll hang out there. Lisette.
I'm definite Smash. I like the nun kind of vibes going on.
I take it. I don't have anything against nun vibes. I don't know if I love the motif, but it's the looks. I'm not a fan. I just don't think she's that pretty. I'm sorry. Titus.
I hate this unit. I hate everything about this unit. He's definitely a pass for me.
I'll put Smash because I actually don't hate his in-game personality all that much, but like as a unit, I agree. He's whatever. Durando.
Oh man, he's got like the GIMP thing going on, the GIMP motif. He's definitely a pass for me.
I'm gonna agree. It's just a little too weird for me.
I'm not into like the crazy BDSM stuff.
I can't do that. Yeah, no. Queen Helena.
Definitely he's got to go in the Smash. Eld was a lucky man.
I'm going to completely agree with you there. She is also in the Smash category, no questions asked. Valade.
Man, I might just have to go for pity on this guy, just because of what happened to him in the story. I'm gonna Smash for pity's sake.
I like it. I'll give you that too. I think he's a fun, younger, youthful guy that like I dig it. I'll give it to him. Liarte.
I'm gonna Smash on Liarte as well. Love the shorts.
It's funny. I don't have a thing against shorter hair because obviously I have Revelka in this list. Liarte is just a little too young looking for me, like in terms of like, I don't know. There's just something that like is visually like, oh, I like looking at her, if that makes sense. So I'll go in the pass. Yeah. Dia.
I mean, she might be my number one on this one, so definite Smash.
I like it. It's going to be hard to say no to that. I'm going to also go Smash. How can you say no to that? Yes, 100%. The next one.
Same thing with Livial, or however you say it. Livial, yeah.
Yeah. Smash for you?
Same, yeah.
I'm torn. I'll go pass. I don't know. She's a weird character to me, that she's like a ninja, but she's like the least ninja character I could possibly think of. That, she's okay, but I also think her character pose artwork is kind of awkward too for me. It's okay.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. Well, Adelard.
I like Adelard a lot, so I'm going to put him in my Smash too.
No doubt. This dude absolutely has a drip. He's one of the few people that can pull off the fedora, if that's what you want to call it. Definitely.
Can't wait for his UR version too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely quality unit worth the UR. How about Schitzelt, the Widower?
Schitzelt and Lorenzo are two units that like, they look so similar like on their artwork, just like kind of change their hair or whatever. I like them both though, so I'm gonna put Smash for Schitzelt.
Okay. He's a little too white knight for my likings. I don't think he's an unattractive person, but like, I don't think I get along with him. I don't think he'd be there. How about I don't even remember his name. What's his name? Vadim, thank you. Smash pass.
Vadim is definite pass. He's got like the homeless man chic going on that I'm not a fan.
I'll give you that too. I actually like headbands as a style choice in JRPGs. I don't think you can pull that off in real life because our foreheads aren't that big, but like, no. How about Mish?
I love Mish. He's going in Smash.
I don't think I could ever smash someone with fashion sense like that. I think that's gonna be passed. That's gonna be weirdo vibes for me.
You don't want him to turn you into a toad?
No. How about Galzak here?
I'm gonna pass. I don't like his robe.
He's a definite Smash for me. I think I like. Let's not go in it. Smash.
Just keep it there.
Keep it there. Alim.
Kind of, but I'm questioning it a little bit, so I'm gonna pass.
Okay. Questioning the choice or the age? Is she
The age, I think.
I'll agree with you. I think she's kind of a goofy character, to be honest. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's that too. Like the personality doesn't really push it in any positive direction.
yeah. Salir.
Salir has got to go to jail.
Let's not relive the Valentine's debacle that happened a couple of years ago, where we didn't know her age and everyone was questioning the Valentine unit art.
I don't want to get canceled.
I don't either. Yeah, we really should have an age barometer here. We probably have people in here that are like 15 that we don't know about. Curry.
Curry's got to pass.
Hard pass. Fuck this.
He's like he's an ugly mofo.
Yeah, this is not daddy vibes. This is like gross old man vibes. See you later. Yeah. Is this Grace?
Murmur. I like all the Snow White triplets or whatever. So smash.
I will completely agree. I can't have Whisper as waifu and not have the sisters there too, if you know what I'm saying. Like they're all cut from the same cut from the same cloth. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Mia.
I'm gonna pass on Mia. I hate her as a character in the story and like her backstabbing ways, so I'm gonna have to pass.
Yeah, I'm just gonna delete. I'm not even put her. I'm kidding. I completely agree. I'm throwing her in my jail category. I think she's
definitely. I can see that. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the past, she deserves to be in jail. Even if she's above age, fuck her. She should be in jail for the rest of her life. Fuck this character. Kamral.
He's kind of like got some Zazan vibes going. I'm gonna pass.
That's consistent. I don't love his personality per se, but like the look is there. I like that style. I think it's like a fun style to kind of have like the wilder looking hair and obviously like the bruiser brawler fist style. Like that's my jam. What about Elshra?
Definitely smash. She's one of my favorites, I would say, out of this list.
Hands down, that is a beautiful character art. 100%. Tyrell.
He's going to jail.
Yeah.
This guy's like 14.
Yeah.
What's he doing hanging around with Venera?
See you later. No way. No way. Is Kadia in jail?
I think so, yeah. I think she's like 15, 16.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because she's a fun unit. And obviously that...
definitely a great unit. Strong
family, hereditary genes with Glassy being the older sister, if you know what I'm saying. That like, give it.
I like the character, but yeah, I just can't pass judgment on on the other stuff. So maybe if she gets like a future version where she's grown up a bit, maybe we can reconsider.
100%. How about Durando? No, I'm sorry.
Lorenzo. Lorenzo's my man. I always like this guy, so smash.
I couldn't agree more. He's probably like top tier smash unit out of the guys I've put on this list so far. He's right there.
Got the flowing hair going on.
Yeah. I like scarves too. That's my jam. So he's rocking it. Balo.
I'm gonna have to pass on Balo. Yeah. I know that he's got a dedicated fan base, but I'm not into it.
Sorry guys, he's staying there with me too. Cryes.
She's got a rockin' body going, but I'm not sure if she's got the age for me, so I'm gonna have to pass.
I'm gonna pass too. Again, now that I don't like short hair, hers is a little too short for my liking. It gets into like 15-year-old emo boy vibes for me, if you know what I'm saying. Like it's not a style, it's kind of short hair. Yeah.
Hear ya.
Dario.
Smash, 100%. This guy is the man. Great unit, cool character. He's got everything going.
I'm torn. It's not my favorite character art. I think he's it's literally borderline, but like I'll create some controversy and put him in pass. Yeah. What about O?
I love O. He's awesome. He's definite smash for me.
I like it. I'm gonna completely agree with you there. Keep him up there in that smash.
Caretaker of the blade, master swordsman. Looking forward to his new version.
Yep, 100%. How about Lilith?
One of my favorites on the list. Definitely top 3 on the list. So yeah, definite.
I'm gonna completely agree. I'll just keep her right there for now. How about Phoebe?
Phoebe's okay. She's got like kind of some motherly things going on. I'm gonna pass for Phoebe.
I'm gonna pass too. There's not a real trait that sticks out to me that I'm like, oh, that's really attractive to look at, or really even like fun to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, Silma? What's her name?
Silma.
Yeah, Silma.
I like Silma. I like the cute red mage look. So smash.
Give you that. This one's borderline. I don't hate it. I wish I need like a zoomed in picture because I really need to like refresh my memory of. I'm gonna be consistent with the short hair for now.
Okay.
There's something about Ravelka that's different though. I can't put my finger on it.
But, a little bit longer and straight.
Yeah. Seymour.
Seymour is the man. Like him and the katana swordsman. Love it.
How can you say no to that? I completely agree. Vistral.
I hate this guy, so I gotta pass.
I will agree. I actually think he's got a fun look to him, but there's nothing about him that I think is really alluring or attractive.
He's got kind of like the crow kind of look going on. He does look pretty cool. I didn't like his character, and the unit itself isn't very good either. So.
No. How about Ramada?
Definitely another like top 5 in the list for me. So gotta smash.
Oh my god! Listen, when they release another UR Ramada, I'll rethink this. This I'm gonna shit on her. Might be one of the dumbest character arts I can ever recall seeing. The helmet looks ridiculous, number one. It's the brightest, dumbest turquoise armor or whatever it is I could possibly think of. She's a spear unit. The whole astrologist thing, there's nothing mystical, magical, or like thoughtful about her that makes it like she's like the weirdest amalgamation of all these different concepts that someone just like slapped on it, and it just like it covers her face, and she isn't even like memorable in terms of like backstory. She's very like just tame. It feels like a cheaper version of Moore. Like she's just like a lesser version of her sister, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
This is total blasphemy, man.
I'm sorry. Which, you know, the winter version is slightly a step up, but man, yeah, that helmet, like that's all I see when I look at her, and I just think of like the weird color scheme, and yeah.
The thigh game is next level.
I don't see it as much, but I'll give it to you. I'll give you the thighs.
Jail is just go directly to jail.
I'll help you out.
Not pass go directly to jail.
See you later. Cyrell.
I like Cyrell a lot. She's really good. Smash.
Absolute smash. Completely agree with you. Ravies.
Love Ravies as well. Definite smash for me.
Nope. Short hair category. It's just I can't. This is nope.
She's got like the braids and stuff going on.
I can't, and her character too is also kind of vanilla for me. Not that I don't like the paladin archetypes, I do, but I like the Nasha aesthetic of a paladin, not the Ravies aesthetic of the paladin. Yeah. Grace.
Yeah, I like all the Snow Whites, so throw them up there.
I will agree. She's also going up there for me. Good lord. What's his name? Fuck.
Ryrie.
Yeah.
I like the zombie version. I never really was a huge fan of his normal version, especially after what he tried to do to Shadowlynx. So he's got to be passed for me.
That's fair. I actually do like the aesthetic. I'll end up putting him in Smash because it is a fun look and style. And although lore wise, I agree, kind of piece of crap. Like aesthetically, like it's pretty cool look. I'll give it to him.
I like the pompadour rockabilly look going.
Yeah, the eye patch, like it's cool. I can dig it. How about oh my god,
Naya.
Thank you. Good lord. I know these characters. It's just 10:20 at night and I'm tired and a little hungover. It's just not coming to me as easily. Yeah, Naya, smash or pass or jail.
I don't think that she's questionable for jail. I think I like the classic white mage look, so smash.
Completely agree. I think she's beautiful. That's definitely smash for me. Yeah, gonna agree with you there. Fucking
Renelle. Renelle is batshit insane, which might be fun, but I'm not sure that it would be worth it, so I'm gonna have to pass.
Nah, I'd agree. If I was addicted to like crack whores, I might be more attracted to her, but no, I can't. Too scraggly looking. It's yeah. Yes, don't stick your dick in crazy argument once again. Yeah.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah. How about Lorila?
I like Lorila a lot. I loved the story with her and Skahal, so smash.
Completely agree. There's something very like elegant about her look and motif. Definitely a big fan. Shadowlynx.
Love Shadowlynx, always have, so definite smash. No, smash, not pass.
Oh, I'm sorry. I my subconscious for myself is borderline for me. Again, it's the short hair thing. And she might be the exception of the rule. I'll go smash. I'll put her up there.
Personally, I don't mind short hair.
I don't mind short hair, but I like hair that it just needs to have a little more personality than just like a crop, just like a, you know what I mean? Like even, I think even for my guys, do I have any guys with just like regular short hair? Like I don't think so. To say like just a crop of hair.
You definitely have a type going on.
Yeah, yeah. People are gonna psychoanalyze the shit out of this. Uh, Mont Leonis.
I have on the MR like Prince version, I have to pass. Like he was one of the main reasons that I absolutely was not into the story at all. Like for the first, I don't know, several months of the game until he started to change. So definite pass for me.
Totally good on that point, but character look, I'll give it to him. Even as Prince, I think he's got, which that defeats my argument. That although that's short hair with some personality, so there we go. That's my standard. And then Sosha as the last unit here for the lower rarity Smasher Pass tier list.
Sosha 100% smash for me. She's great.
Yep, totally guaranteed. I'm right there with you, and I'll move Lilith there instead. We'll do that. Okay, there we go. So, all right. Now that we've seen this, any last final thoughts on whether you have any regrets the morning after here now of those you wish you didn't, or those you wish you did?
I do like Revelka. I do like Krace. Like I said, I'm just not sure on like age-wise, so I have to keep him in pass. So I don't think there'd be anybody I would change.
I'll do the same. I like
it's
her
one of those. It's one of those things where like I feel like she's just like an older looking like 16 or 17 kind of deal. Yeah. Where it's just like
yeah, it's hard, and obviously it's hard to tell here just looking at a thumbnail. It's not like I've memorized her character art, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, wait a minute. What the fuck? What? Why do I have Durando in Smash? How did that happen? Did you let me put him there and not tell me?
I guess it was your Freudian slip there.
What the shit? Yes, take him out of Smash.
Oh man,
that's great. Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with all this.
I like it. I like mine. I stand by it.
I think I do too. I don't think there's anyone I'd drop, nor was there anyone I'd bump up. I feel bad about Dario, but sorry, bud. All right, well, that then is the first official Smasher Pass lower rarity edition. Something fun for y'all. We're going to be doing a UR version. We're thinking maybe episode 50 or maybe the 1 year anniversary of when we celebrate the podcast, which is coming up the first week of March here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think if you guys enjoyed that, and yeah, maybe we can make it semi-recurrent.
Definitely, and we do have like final 2 Q&As here to kick things off. Not terribly in depth, but these are 2 fun questions to go over here. How would you feel about a new 100 cost missile unit with modern missile DPS and top tier evasion, like something along 2B innate evasion or higher, and around Melnia offensive output? This is obviously very specific for a character build they have in mind. I do have an answer for that, at least like hypothetically speaking, in like character builds. But what are you thinking though?
I have liked that. I thought that was really good with Lara Croft when she was originally released, and you know, I think that it could be good now. I think that's you know, assuming that you know you're keeping away from really accurate units, it does keep them a little bit safer, just because they do have that natural range advantage, and usually the majority of like guaranteed hits tend to be smaller, you know, crosses or single targets. So it does give them a little bit of added survivability. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that again.
I don't hate the concept if they were to come out with someone like this. Ironically, fun fact, do you know which missile unit has the highest base luck in the game? When I tell you, it won't surprise you, but it'll probably surprise you a little bit. And it's by a fair amount, too. It's like not even close.
I don't recall.
It's Rugia, the highest base luck of the missile units. Lara Croft is actually way down. I actually did an analysis of this at one point when I was looking at to see of a character's total innate evasion, how much of it was luck scaling and how much of it was evasion percentage. Because my theory craft at the time was that those that were too heavily evasion based, like Lara Croft, wouldn't scale well as the game went on, as luck is like a primary, determinator. I like the concept of the unit. Let's just answer the question. That being said, this is something that I've thought about for a while, and I wish they did more with the missile units, where they tend to make them more above average in accuracy. They tend to do that by accuracy passives or their bogusly large dexterity value, right? I don't know why they haven't done more with the luck stat for missile units to give them a capability of evasion as part of the survivability. I have no problem with the character being squishy, but I have a problem that character is squishy and literally has no evade upside. Prompto might be the closest thing we've seen to it, where they gave a missile unit, I'm sorry, Lara Croft obviously is, but Prompto also, they gave them a real like evade angle as a missile unit that, yeah, you don't have to dodge everything, but like dodge some of the stuff, and particularly if you're going to be trapped in these large AoEs, which is a big downside of many of the missile units. Make it so that they can dodge some of these AoEs they might happen to randomly get caught in. You could still wrinkle that in with their above average accuracy by giving them higher base luck, which should accomplish the same goal per se. I don't know why they haven't done more of that, to be honest.
I mean, to be honest, we haven't seen that many missile units in general, in the past year. There's just been, a few of them. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that we'll see. Maybe one of the bow units could be evasive. This year. I mean, we do know that there's young Curry, Rosaluna, Mama Wazette. So there's should be some potential missile units coming in. Maybe one of them will be evasive. Would be interesting.
Yeah, balance wise, I don't know why they can't. I've even thought about that for supports. That was my big thing for Renoa when she came out. But I was kind of sad that they didn't give Renoa a little bit of an evasion angle. That as a support, where you talk about characters that are a little squishier and take more damage, that's kind of a way to like offset it a little bit. Is give them like a glimmer of being able to miss, and you see how strong that can be with Sylvie, who might be a little bit too strong in that. But no, even no, because you have to min max your luck to really get her to that level. But yeah, Sylvie's a great candidate. Where like that's part of the survivability. Yeah. The next question is excluding new mechanics, and I don't know how much that's a factor in this, but what Esper roles are still most needed in the game, if any? And honestly, there's some really good examples already given here. Number one is more water Espers. Although there's a lot of high quality ones, they do still technically have 2 to 3 less on average than the other elements. There is not a 20 or 25% lightning resistance Esper, which I think is wrong. I think Ochu technically is. But
Yeah, I think Ochu gets 20.
UR wise, that's definitely true. Where there's mostly UR Espers that can reach that. There's no dedicated strike attack Esper as a strike attack up, and like a magic oriented fire Esper. There's definitely some holes missing there. What do you think? Is there anything still glaringly missing from an Esper role?
I would like to see more options for cast time reduction because at this point we just have Siren and we have a limited time Valifor, and literally that's it. I think we definitely need more options for that because it's an outdated mechanic and certain units just can't function without reducing their cast time. So that's a big one for me. I don't really care about the strike attack Esper. I think the elemental nodes, I think the man killer nodes are more than fine for those units. I wouldn't pull specifically for a strike attack Esper unless it was doing something new at this point. Same thing with Magic Fire. Although I would like to see like a cast time reduction in the fire element. I think they could kill two birds with that. Because Kefka needs it, because a classic Lassie needs it. Some other units could probably in fire need it as well. So what I would like to see is some of these newer mechanics, which they have been doing, which is like the defense pen. I would like to see a spirit pen, same thing, like a magical version of Ultros. I would like to see. We saw the magical reduction on the lightning Dragon Esper.
Yep.
I want to see the physical counterpart as well, and I'm sure they're working on that stuff. So I'm sure we'll see it as time comes.
I agree. I don't think they have much to add here. I would like to see Espers. I know for me the evade oriented Espers, you're really limited to three. It's Dark Ifrit, it's Dark Odin, it's Tetrasulfate, and technically Glacial, the ice one, because they have luck percent. I would like to see maybe one more, if not, Demon Shimmer, Dark Shimmer, Demon Shimmer, technically a fourth, but that one's far inferior to the others. But I do like the glacial style of Esper where it's a pure luck percent. I would like to see them do something similar again, where maybe a different role, because that one's got a wind res specialty that, maybe make when it's more of a generalist evade Esper. That Dark Odin is kind of that, but again, that's an attack oriented one, but at least has human killer. But Dark Ifrit is very primarily a physical evade oriented Esper that I like the versatility. It feels kind of bad doing a character review on an evade unit, and you talk about Espers, and I just have three options. It's like that. There you go, just that, and there's really no like opportunities to wrinkle in other Espers, the elemental res, or maybe some unique mechanics on them. So I like that. But I agree. There's some holes missing, but I don't think you need strike attack. I would normally say more Espers with human killer, but I think that would make them more generic, which I don't like either. But I'm just gonna agree with what you said. I don't think I have more to add on that.
The only other thing I can think of is again kind of more on the unique effects line where we only have at this point I think one or maybe two Espers that have reaction block. Like I'd like to see more of those and continue to flesh that out because that is a weakness for a lot of units. And that's what you're trying to do and a lot of times with the Espers. You're trying to fill in certain things that they need or maybe just trying to amplify, some base things that they carry. So I mean, certainly there's a lot of Espers they could still to pull from. Alexander, I think, is the one that we've been kind of hoping that they would release, but still hasn't come yet. But hopefully we'll see that soon.
Definitely, definitely. Would be kind of fun to see some of these buffs that we're getting in the game to be applied to Espers. I think of like a honeycomb barrier. Let's say, for instance, that you get a node and it's something like that, where we've seen this already with some of the things that were formerly buffs be transitioned into an Esper node. I know that's outside of what the question is really asking for, but I do think that's a good way to help keep older units fresh a little bit with the current ones. But yeah, that's really it. We can without analyzing more.
One final thing I'll say here, I do want them to sort of retool Esper summons in general and make them more impactful, like in the matches. Like this time, the only time you ever see the Esper summon come out is like they're just finishing a unit off because it'll do the 2,000 damage you need to kill somebody and it costs 0 AP, and that's literally the only reason they use it, or it's a guaranteed hit. Like those are the two cases really that it happens. I would like to see better effects on those Espers, more impactful effects, and I would like to see actual summoners be put into the game and be like a useful role in the game. Certainly units like Yuna, like Rydia, like some famous Final Fantasy summoners. That's I don't know. I would like it to see it be part of the universe and lore.
So I actually want to circle back on this just because this is a good topic. I think JP implemented this. I don't know if it's reflective on Votive Calc. I think I remember confirming with Odaiba. JP had done something though where with most of their Espers, they changed the effect. One of the primary reasons Espers do not get used is that physical damage dealers will almost never have max damage using the Esper here because most of the effects, you look at Dark Odin, it's a typeless magic attack. This is a physical oriented Esper. There's not a physical unit in the game that will prioritize this mid fight because of the way the damage calculation works. Look at something like Anima, like let's say on Sephiroth. When is Sephiroth ever going to use this mid fight? It's not going to happen. So I think JP had done something where they had transitioned these effects to be in line with the some kind of physical oriented one. I really need to check on that, but I think that would be a massive quality of life improvement to what you're talking about to at least give these Espers an opportunity to come out earlier because right now it's near impossible for any physical damage dealer to ever use this mid fight because the damage calculation is never being maximized.
And then plus, like nobody is taking the damage nodes because it's not worth investing 200, Esper points just to get a 35 mod on this terrible attack. So
Right.
I don't know. I think that I feel like these should be retooled by Gumi in some way completely, just to I don't know. It would add a new like interesting strategy to the game, I think.
Right, totally, because these are high impact. They only get used in PvE or manual, where you have the optionality of the timing
Yeah.
of when you want to use it. But there's no reason why in auto PvP that at least again that a physical damage dealer couldn't use this mid fight, particularly for all the guaranteed hit that's attached to a lot of these. That would solve a lot of problems on a lot of characters as evade goes on. That doesn't feel good when you're 5 turns left and everyone's standing there looking at each other with thumbs up their butts because they can't hit the Elena because all the buffs were. You know what I mean? Like this,
Yeah.
that just kind of shouldn't happen, and this would help prevent that too for sure. That's the Leonis report 43. 43. That everything again, not a ton of content, so I figured have some fun with it, but should be still fun to see a new unit come out. Obviously, a missile unit will have some fun teeth to sink into, but that's it for now. So yeah, JB, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, as always, if you're going for links this week, good luck. If you're gonna drop down the paid, I think that's probably the best way to go because I'm assuming we do follow JP, it's going to be an expensive 70 cost. It's not going to be unless they absolutely change it, which they could. We'll see next week, but it's a full cost. 42 or 40K or whatever the normal pity cost is. So if you have the paid, and you like the unit, this might be a good time to use it.
Definitely. But that's it for now. Thanks everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you all soon.
See ya.